Bismillah, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It's your sister Naima B. Robert here, back again with another quick thought, a quick reflection, a quick reminder. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, go ahead and subscribe now. Give this video a thumbs up and make sure that you click on the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of this good stuff that's coming your way, mashallah. Today I want to talk about a comment that was left on one of the videos where a sister said that she wanted to leave her husband after over a decade of marriage. She's had enough. From what she said, the brother himself is not very practicing, but he has been providing for her and the 3 children very well, enough that she was able to not work. She was able to devote herself to the children and, you know, to homeschool her kids, which she always wanted to do, mashallah. However, the Dean situation, I don't know how severe it is, but she has decided that she doesn't want to be in that situation anymore, and she's hoping that she will find somebody better. Now, of course, please bear in mind that this is my subjective opinion, and it's based on my years of experience. It's based on what I've lived and what I know and what I see around me. And the reason I wanted to make this video is because I know that for most of us, men and women who aren't out of a marriage and want to remarry, everyone is hoping for an upgrade. Give me a yes in the comments if you agree. Everybody's hoping for an upgrade, right? Because if it wasn't an upgrade, you wouldn't be thinking of leaving the man that you're with or the woman that you're with, right? You're hoping for an upgrade. So I want to speak to this because being young and having a marriage and divorcing and wanting an upgrade it's a tricky one. And it's tricky for a few reasons, and I want to go into these. But let me start with this first example that I had, which was this sister who has 3 children in her late 30s. She's hoping for a man who has Deen inside and out and is responsible and kind and basically a good guy. Now, when it comes to being married, having been married to somebody who was not practicing and then wanting a practicing spouse, I believe that you can find that, because alhamdulillah, there are still so many practicing brothers who are not married, right? So they're mumkin. It's possible. It's possible to find that. Sis, where you lost me was when you said responsible. Now, I'm guessing that for many single mums, if they say that they're looking for a man who is responsible or looking for somebody who is going to support her and her children, I'm assuming that what you mean is that you're hoping that this new man is going to be responsible for you and your children financially and otherwise. If I got it wrong, forgive me, but I'm going to go with that as my assumption, and I'm going to use that as the basis of this discussion. So we know from this example that the father of the children was responsible. He is responsible, okay? Now, the way things work in our community, I cannot be sure whether he would continue to be financially responsible once the divorce goes through, because I know many instances of fathers who, once the divorce goes through, for whatever reason, they do not take financial responsibility of their children. And I have it on good authority how many sisters are, when they're looking for a second or third marriage and they have children, very often they will say the father is not in the picture, or they need someone to come in as a father figure. The problem here is this. The reason why that first husband, who, from what we understand, was not religious, the reason he worked so hard enough for you, sis, to not have to work, for him to be able to support you and 3 children so that you can homeschool, the reason he was able to do that and the reason he did that was because that is his legacy. Those are his children, and you are the mother of those children. And I want sisters to be very, very clear on this. And I'm going to say this, and anyone who disagrees with me, please hit me back in the comments. But I believe, and from what I've seen and from what I've heard and what men have said, the level of commitment, the level of dedication, and the level of investment that a man will make in his own children cannot be matched by the level of dedication, commitment, and investment that a man will make in children that are not his. I'm going to say that again. The level of commitment that you will see from the father of your children, right? You're married to him, he's married to you, the two of you have children together. That man is going to go to war for you, okay? He is going to work 3 jobs in order to put food on the table, in order to be able to keep the house going, etc. Because those are his kids. Now, if you leave that man because you're not happy with him for whatever reason, my dear sisters, I need you to be realistic when it comes to what you expect that next man to do for you and your children, especially financially. You need to understand those are not his kids. Islamically, he is not responsible for them. I'm going to say that again. Islamically, your new husband is not responsible financially for your children. So I hope that when you're saying you want a responsible man, you're not looking to replace the father of the children when it comes to like the finances for the children, even the involvement, the level of involvement emotionally, physically, etc. Sisters, I'm going to say this and you may not like it, but I need you to know that for a man to step into a house where there is a woman and her children, and for him to step into that house and agree to play the part of the Amir or the father figure is a huge deal. It is not baseline. It's not the bare minimum. It's a huge deal. And a man who agrees to that scenario is making many sacrifices and is signing up for a difficult road ahead. Not because you're bad, not because your kids are bad, not because you have less value or any of that nonsense. It's just the deal on the table. Okay? If a man moves into your house, already he's at a disadvantage because it's your house. Now, it's your house and your children's house, right? This is their space. He is moving into their space, replacing their father in the room with their mother, and you want him to play dad. I'm going to leave it to you and your imagination to just imagine all the different challenges that situation brings about, okay? Because I'm sure that if you use your imagination, you can see why that situation is not necessarily going to be an easy situation. The older the kids are, the more difficult it becomes. So that man who has agreed to come in, sisters, what I need you to do is I need you to recognize the level of sacrifice that he's making. I need you to understand that it's not something you should just expect from a new man, that he's just going to be cool with it or that he's going to be good at it, because it's a big deal. And as I said, the sacrifices that he makes for himself, they're huge, right? And again, I'm because I'm a novelist, because I write fiction, it's quite easy for me to step into somebody else's shoes. So I'm thinking to myself, if I'm a man of a certain age and I want to get married, I'm looking forward to, marrying a woman, building a relationship with her, enjoying her company. She's going to spoil me a little bit. I'm going to spoil her. We're going to have a nice time as a family. We get lots, as much time as we want together, and it's just going to be this wonderful experience, right? Now, if I marry a woman who has children, already like I said, you're at a disadvantage if you move in with her, but also I know already that the deal on the table is that I am not going to be this woman's priority. I know this as a man. Not many men are cool with that. And men, in the comments, you can tell me what you think. But most men would like to be a priority in their woman's life. They'd like to be at the top of the totem pole, ideally. If you marry a woman who has children, you're not at the top of the totem pole. You can't be, right? If he's marrying you knowing you have kids and you have custody, he's already accepted an inferior position. He's accepted that his position is going to be lower than that of your children, right? Because most men do not expect you to, to have him in the house and then he's going to be at the top. Now, that being said, it doesn't feel great. Nobody willingly puts themselves in a situation where they're going to be bottom of the heap, right? Because you're busy with the kids and you're busy with the house and you've got to deal with, their father. And at the end of the day, your kids need you, you're their main carer, etc. My guy, you just wait. So because that is the situation that he's ostensibly coming into, you, my dear sis, I need you to recognize that he is making a sacrifice he did not need to make. He didn't need to sign up for you and your 3 kids. He didn't need to sign up for you and your 5 kids or your 2 kids or however many it is. He didn't need to do that. And if he hadn't done that and he had found somebody who didn't have kids, his life probably would be better. And let's say this with all women being equal, okay? Because I know we all believe that we are very, very special, mashallah. But women are women and men are men at the end of the day, okay? Why do I say this? Am I saying this in order to make my single moms feel bad? Or to dissuade men from marrying women with children? No. What I am saying though is, sis, if you're being courted by a man and you have children already, just please be aware of the fact that he's already making a sacrifice and that he is stepping into a very challenging situation. So if you want that relationship to last, if you want that marriage to last, I suggest that you start appreciating him just for the fact that he said yes to coming into your situation. Because he didn't need to do that. Let that be a big deal in your eyes, especially if he's actually bringing something to the table with regards to the kids. Don't nitpick his parenting style. Don't muscle in and take control and try to manage him and micromanage the relationship with the kids. And definitely don't start giving him a hard time about things that other people give their spouses a hard time about. Oh, why don't we have date night? You never buy me gifts. Oh, I thought we were going to be doing this. I thought we were going to do that. I need you to be more this with the kids. I need you to do more that. And like all of those other demands and all those other pressures that you think are reasonable because as far as you're concerned, the baseline is that he steps in as the man of the house. Stop that. It's not a baseline. And many men can't even do that, okay? If they themselves, for example, didn't have a relationship with their father, if they've not seen fatherhood being modeled, he can't step in as the father of those children. Not only has he not seen it modeled, but they're not his kids. So where is this feeling meant to come from? Where is all this vision and all the things that you expect from the father of your children? Where is it supposed to come from with this stranger who just stepped into their lives and maybe has known them for like 3 months, if that? We need to be humble when we're going into these situations. Everybody. The man, he's already humbled because he's like, you know what, I know what I'm signing up for. It's not Khamas Nugum, it's not 5-star, it's not the best that I could get, but alhamdulillah, like I'm good with this. I think I can make this work, right? It's not ideal, and I'd explained already why it's not ideal, but I'm good with this. That's where he's at. You're going to meet him with that humility, and I'm going to use the word, guys, the G word, gratitude. Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you for whatever he does with those kids, sis. Whatever he does with them, you better thank him. You better be grateful for it. He's not their dad. He's not their dad. He doesn't have the natural feeling that their father may have had for them. He doesn't have that natural sense of protectiveness, or that natural sense of investment in them, that natural sense of bonding is not there. So anything he does for those kids, you better thank him for it. You better be grateful for it. And don't expect more. Be happy with what he can give you and talk about it beforehand. Have the discussion. You know, obviously, if he's asked you to marry him, he's clear that, you know, okay, children are part of the picture. You ask him, what do you want the relationship to look like? Don't you come with your list of demands and I need you to do this, and I need you to do that, I need you to... No, find out from him where his head's at. Has he thought it through? Has he thought about it? What's his vision of being a stepdad? And then see if you can work with it. Have a conversation about it. So in addition to, you know, thanking him whenever he does something with regards to these kids that are not his, especially at the beginning, you need to compensate. I'm sorry. You need to compensate. And what do I mean by that? I mean, like, the ways in which you were like casual with the children's father, with maybe your appearance, maybe dinner, maybe sex, whatever it is. You had an excuse when you were with the children's father because, hey, you've been looking after his kids all day. Of course, you're not going to have had a shower. You've been looking after kids all day. Of course, you're going to want, you know, a break on the weekend and he should take the kids, etc. You know, you guys, you know, we do that with the dad of the kids, right? That's the, you know, and the father of the children knows as well. Look, this should, you know what? These are my children. Of course, I'm going to make, you know, I'm going to give her a bly. When he's not their father, you don't have those excuses. You can't afford to fall back on those excuses anymore because it will put strain on your relationship. It will make him feel like you don't value him, like you take him for granted, like basically you don't care about the fact that he has needs too, right? So what I'm saying is, don't fall back on the fact that you've got the kids. The kids are always going to be your responsibility. Whatever he does to help you alleviate that responsibility, walillah alhamd, alhamdulillah. But you can't go in there expecting it to be like it was with their father. And you need to compensate. Maybe you can call it overcompensating, right? When you had the father of your children, maybe intimacy suffered a little bit, for example, right? Because you're up late nursing or because you were just tired. And at the end of the day, he's just there and they're his kids and all the rest of it. It's a great excuse. Not with the stepdad, guys. Not with your second husband. You can't use the kids as an excuse to deny intimacy or to refuse intimacy. You need to have that in your head. You can't use the children as an excuse for why dinner isn't done or why the house is a mess, because it's going to cause tension between the two of you, and it causes him to resent the kids and to resent the fact that you don't seem to value him enough to sort yourself out and sort your things out to make sure that he is taken care of. A lot of the time, and the thing is, I'm thinking of the single mum videos that I made, you know, years ago, right? A couple of years ago. And I didn't have this awareness at the time at all, which is why I didn't give any of this advice at the time. But trust me, these subsequent marriages statistically are shown to last a shorter time and to be more likely to end in divorce. One of the reasons is because of these expectations that we have and the natural kind of tension when it's a blended family, etc. And we want to avoid that. We've already had one divorce. We don't need a second and a third and a fourth. So how can you win in your second or subsequent marriage? By not thinking you can do things the same way you did in the first marriage, particularly if you do not have children together. And even if you do, I'd argue that it's probably not a good idea to kind of fall back on that stuff anyway. But long story short, you may get the religious guy, sis. But if you're hoping to simply get a full upgrade on the father of your children, as in he provides as well as the father did, he's as responsible as the father was, maybe he's as involved with the kids as the father was, as well as being more religious, having a better connection with you, being more generous, whatever the case may be, you are in for a rude awakening. Because eligible Muslim men, meaning practicing, fairly attractive, responsible family men who have financial means, do not grow on trees. And the ones that you'll find in your age group are more than likely married. So if you're up for polygamy, you may get one of those. But if you want monogamy, you'll need to really look at the list that you have and get realistic with it. Sometimes the best option is to stay with the father of the children because he has the commitment and he has the investment in the children, and you can maintain your situation for longer. If you can't hack it at all, if you can't make it work, if you can't see your way through, just understand that the next relationship is not going to be as stable as the first one. It doesn't have the roots that the first one had. There's more challenges, more difficulties, there's a lot more things that impact the relationship than in the marriage that you have now, right? So far be it from me to tell anyone to say yes or no, to stay or to go, but I do feel that it's important that we have more realistic conversations about what life looks like on the other side of divorce. Yes, there are some stories that are wonderful. Yes, there are some stories where you hear that the new husband loved the children like his own and was the even better father than their father. But trust me, even in those situations, the kids don't like that because they want their father. So anyway, like I said, far be it from me to say you should say yes, you should say no, you should stay, you should go. But let's at least make decisions based on reality and not fairy tales. If you guys got anything out of the content, please do hit the subscribe button, leave a comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this reminder that was supposed to be short, but is now 20 minutes long. And you know, any khair, any good that has come from this is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and any mistakes are from myself and the shaitan. And I ask everyone's forgiveness in advance if I've upset anyone, if I've offended anyone, if I've triggered anyone. I think you know by now, I speak from the heart. And I only say what I believe to be true based on what I know and, you know, what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has allowed me to learn along the way. So I pray that this helps someone. And if you know anybody who needs to hear this message, then feel free to just forward this video off to them, you know, and inshallah, I'll see you on the next one. Subhanak Allahumma rabbana bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant wa astaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum.